What's going on, guys? Billy here, and today I've got a bit of a different video for you. I'm going to be showing you guys what I have on my iPhone as far as my apps are concerned. I really like watching these videos as I get to see some different apps that are kind of underrated and that I don't really see featured that much on the App Store. So I figured I'd make one for you guys and share with you some of the apps that I use every single day. Just as a reference, the phone that I'm using is a black iPhone 7 Plus with 256 gigabytes of storage. Before we begin, let's do a quick overview. Basically, I have 3 separate pages for my apps, and if I have any more pages than that, I feel like I'm cluttered and disorganized, so I was trying to limit it down to 3. Now, this first page is all of the stock iOS apps, as well as some other apps I've downloaded from the App Store that I use on a daily basis. Moving on to my next page, these are apps that are fairly important to me and I use on a daily basis, but again, aren't like the first page that pretty much house all of the stock iOS apps. Moving on to the third and final page, this is basically all the apps that are runners-up to that second page of apps, and at the bottom I have some folders for some miscellaneous apps that I don't use on a regular basis. Now let's go a bit more in-depth through these pages. I'm not going to go in-depth about every single app as I could be here forever, but I will point out some of my favorites. Now, starting off with this first page, again, this is primarily all of the stock iOS apps, so you guys are pretty much familiar with all of those, but there are 3 on here that you might not recognize, and that is Notability, pCalc, and Money Pro. Basically, Notability is a great note-taking app. I think it works a lot better than the stock iOS Notes app, as the drawing for the Apple Pencil on the iPad Pro is a lot better, and I do a lot of that for note-taking in class. Basically, this holds all of the notes for my YouTube channel and also all of the notes for my schoolwork. So again, it does a really good job at keeping everything organized. Next up, we have pCalc, and this is a paid calculator app. Basically, I got this so that I could have a calculator on my iPad as well as on my iPhone that can do pretty much everything a scientific calculator can do. So if I don't have my TI-84, which pretty much everyone knows what that should be, if I don't have that on me, I can still have the same benefits as that, except on my iPhone. Finally, we have Money Pro, and I'm not going to click on this just because it's a bit too personal. Basically, this is how I track my spending. You have to manually input everything you spend your money on, but it's pretty cool that I can sit down at the end of the month and see how much money I spent on gas or how much money I spent on electronics. As far as the rest of the apps on the screen go, it is fairly boring, just the watch app and the phone app, etc., but you may be wondering why I'm using some of these stock iOS apps over third-party options, such as Calendar and Mail. Now, the short answer to this is that I enjoy the functionality I get with Calendar and Mail just because they were made by Apple for their devices. I feel like they do the best job at syncing across different platforms such as the Mac, the iPad, and the iPhone. I tried Mailbox in place of the Mail client a while back, and I was really unimpressed at how it did syncing-wise. I feel like I was deleting emails twice from my iPhone and then on my Mac, so I just switched back to the Mail app, and ever since then I've been pretty happy. But now that we're finished with this page, let's move on to the second page. Starting off from the top, I'll go through all these apps with you guys, and then I'll go over some of the ones you may not be as familiar with a little more in depth. Now, starting off from the top, we have Amazon, GoPro Capture, DJI Go, and DJI Go 4. Next, we have Domino's, ESPN, Filmic Pro, and Harmony. On the third row, we have Hue, NOAA Radar, My Verizon, and Parcel Track. On the fourth row, we have Reddit, Snapchat Studio, and YouTube. On the fifth row, we have Venmo, Windy, Workflow, and Wunderlist. And finally, on the sixth row, we have some different folders to house groups of applications. The first is for photography. The next is to keep all of my schoolwork in order. The third is for traveling. And the fourth is all of my word processing apps, such as Apple Pages, Microsoft Word, and Google Docs. Now that we're finished going through all of these apps, let's go a bit more in depth about some of the ones that may be less known. So first of all, we have Harmony. This one is pretty cool. It allows me to connect to my Logitech Harmony remote, and I can control my TV as well as my Apple TV from a touch of a button right from my phone, which is great, so I don't have to reach for the remote if it's super far away, but also is cool so that as I'm pulling in, I can turn my TV on as I'm walking up the steps. Next up, we have NOAA Radar. This one is pretty cool as you can get a nice high-def look at the weather coming your way. I'm not going to click on it as I don't want people to see my location on the map, but just know that this is a great application for weather tracking. Next up, we have the application Windy, and basically this will tell you what the wind looks like around your area. So let's say we click on New York. It'll show you all of the different wind speeds around that area, and this is perfect for whenever you're trying to fly a drone. I made a video on this in the past. It was probably one of my first videos that I made, so it is a little bit dated, but again, I still use this app. It pretty much shows you the wind speed as well as wind direction, and it's perfect to take a look at before I go out and fly my drone. The next app that I have is Workflow, and this one is awesome as you can choose custom actions and launch them by long pressing or 3D touching on the application. So here I can check my AdSense, analytics, subscribers, and video manager right from just clicking a button. So say if we click subscribers, it'll open up inside of this application, and I can see my real-time subscriber count on Social Blade. So this is fairly cool, but you can do a lot of different things, such as play a playlist right from the touch of a button. The combinations are really endless. So if you guys want, go check this application out. I believe it's a few bucks on the App Store, but again, it is highly worth it if you kind of want that Android feel on your iPhone. Our next app is Wunderlist, and this is a great to-do list app. I would highly recommend it. It's free, and you can actually add other people to your to-do lists so they can add things for you. Right now, this is one that me and my mom are in, and she can add things that she needs me to do around the house, so it is great. And you can hook up maybe one that you, say, have with your family members, so you can tell them to do certain things, and you can assign certain tasks to different people. So I'd highly recommend this. It's free, and again, it's probably one of the best to-do lists on the App Store. Now finally, as for these 4 folders at the bottom, I'll briefly go over them. Basically, the first one is my photography folder. I have the Camera Plus app as well as Lightroom, and I've made a video on both of these apps. I'll put a link for it up in the top right corner so you can click on that, be taken to that. Basically, I think that these are both the best iPhone 7 Plus camera apps that you can get. Camera Plus does a great job at allowing you to take photos manually, and Lightroom does a great job at allowing you to edit them. So if you're really into photography and you have the iPhone 7 Plus, I would highly recommend getting both of these apps. Next up, inside of my school folder, nothing in here is really all that special. Pretty much everyone that goes to school hates school, and all this stuff just helps me get through a lot easier. Basically, the only thing I really enjoy is this MyScript calculator. You can write anything on here, like we can do 4 plus 4, and even as sloppy as my handwriting is, it'll come up as 8. So this is really cool, and it does a lot of advanced things, so it's perfect whenever you need to put in a complicated math problem. Now let's move on to the third and final page. Now all of these apps are kind of like miscellaneous. I really don't use these apps all that often, but I do like to fill this third page up with apps that I do use more frequently than the ones that I just want to toss down in the folders. So starting off from the top, we have 1Password, AllTrails, Best Buy, and eBay. Underneath of that, we have Fandango, Facebook, GasBuddy, and GolfShot Plus. On our third row, we have Genius, MileIQ, Qdoba, Remote. And then underneath of that, we have Shazam, SoundCloud, Uber, and Xbox. On the fifth row, we have Clash Royale, League of War, Minecraft, and Words. Those are the games that I'm currently playing right now. And on our sixth row, we have some more folders. We have a folder for all of the video apps. Next, we have some food apps like Dunkin', McDonald's, etc., etc. Next, we have some games that I frequently play whenever I don't have any internet connection. And the fourth one is just basically miscellaneous apps that I like to keep on my phone so I don't have to keep re-downloading and re-deleting them. Now, as far as the apps on this page, I'm really not going to go too in-depth. There is one app that I want to point out, and that is the 1Password app. Honestly, it is a lifesaver. I'm not sure how much it costed, but whatever it did cost, it was worth it. I know that the Mac app, or the Mac version of this app, is like $64. I don't know if it's that worth it, but I know that the iOS version is a lot cheaper, and basically, within this application, you keep a bunch of secret stuff, like your secret passwords, your secret notes, all of that stuff, and it works really well. So, whatever I paid for it, it is honestly worth it, and I love it. Another app that I really want to point out is GasBuddy. This app is awesome. It'll show you all of the gas prices around you, and me as a college student, I really do like to save as much money as I can in a lot of different places, and gas is certainly one of them, as trying to go back and forth to school on the weekends or sometimes on weeknights, it does cost a lot of money to fill up my tank. So finding the cheapest gas around me is honestly a plus, and using this GasBuddy app has helped me out a lot. So anyway, that about wraps this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here, as I have been trying to upload daily. If you have any questions about any of the apps I listed in this video, make sure to leave a comment down below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. I know I couldn't go over each app in depth, but I will be here to answer any questions that you guys have. If I do get some good feedback on this video, I'll make sure to post an updated version in the future, showing you guys the apps that I've added, as well as the apps that I've deleted. But anyway, as I said, this video is coming to an end, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.